Hello and welcome back to our video diary of our backpacking tour around northern Spain. We're just leaving the lovely town of Prades this morning. We've really enjoyed sitting in the plaza and having drinks and food. As with so many of these Spanish towns that we've visited, the city walls are still somewhat standing. There's something wonderful about being able to enter or exit a town through a gate. We're heading to a place called Roca Laura today. Actually, we'll be staying just outside of it in a hotel just for one night. First part of the ride today is all downhill. We're actually descending about 1,000 meters this morning. We're still in a nature preserve here. This is all natural forest. Looking across the valley, you can see just how dense the forest is. Absolutely wonderful. Wow, look at that view. You can see all the way down the valley, and it's a bit hazy. I don't know if it'll come out on the camera, but with the naked eye you can just see the ridge beyond the valley in the distance. That line down the valley is pretty much the route that we're going to be taking. You can also see all the switchbacks on the road that we'll be taking down this side of the mountain. I'm finding this scenery absolutely staggeringly beautiful. Unfortunately, Ben's vertigo has kicked in, so he's not enjoying it so much. It's such a shame. For me, this is one of the best rides that we've done on this holiday, and we have done some amazing rides. I just find it quite uplifting when I see this quantity of trees, especially when it's a completely natural landscape. We have been passing the odd cyclist this morning. Of course, none of them have electric bikes, and going the other way, I think it would be such hard work. Still, I totally understand why people do it. I mean, it's just such a beautiful spot. Well, we're almost down at the valley bottom now. I don't know if you can see that brownish cloud just above the horizon. Ben says he can smell wood smoke, so we're just wondering if it's from a forest fire. As far as we can see, the nearest forest fire is hundreds of kilometers away in the north of Spain. Still, that would explain the smell and the haziness. These fields are full of grapevines, so I guess the wine region extends all the way up here. The ride's about 45 kilometers today. We've probably got another hour and a half to go or so. We're actually planning to go all the way to Igualada today, but Ben split the ride in half. We had a day in hand, and it's just a little bit nicer doing two slightly shorter days. We're just starting to climb up the ridge on the other side of the valley now. We've actually got to come up quite a way as well. Views are not quite as spectacular on this side. It really does look quite hazy still. Gosh, I am so thirsty. I think we both are. As always, it's pretty hot today. Not much further now, though. Another half hour or so max. Right, and this is the turning to the hotel. It's not in a town or anything. It's because we just added in the stop to break up the ride. And this is it. Check-in's not till 3, so we'll be waiting around a little while. Well, plenty of time to have a few drinks and chill, and I can also do a bit of video editing whilst I wait. Time to head off again. We're going to a place called Igualada today. That hotel did look a bit uninspiring, but the staff were actually really nice, and that makes all the difference, really, doesn't it? It's all about the wheat fields today. Wheat fields and windmills. One of the olive orchards and the peach and almond trees. Still in the mountains, though. We'll be staying in the mountains, well, as much as possible, really, on this trip. Mel insisted on giving us a packed lunch because we wanted to leave before breakfast started. Nice of her. We'll do an hour or so and then stop and have a bite to eat. This is as good a place as any. We can sit down, which is nice. We've got a little under 60 kilometres to do today, so kind of middling distance for us. Not as nice as it was to have a bit of breakfast. I'm kind of missing a coffee. We'll stop in the next town we come across. This town looks promising. It's just gone 9 o'clock, so hopefully the coffee shops will be open.
Let's see if there's a town square. So pleased that we found an open coffee shop.
I think we've stumbled across another pretty little medieval town. The inside of that coffee shop was absolutely heaving, and us cyclists were hogging the outside tables. Cycling does seem to be really popular here. Just past the sign saying we've entered the Barcelona province. Probably only about 50 or 60 kilometres from the city here. We're just going to be staying one night in Igualada. We've got a hotel booked right in the centre of the old town. I'm going right today. It's not as spectacular as it was yesterday coming down from the mountains, but it's still very pretty. As has been the case most of the time on this journey, there's very little traffic on these little roads. It does make for good cycling. We're nearly there now. Here we are in Igualada, and our hotel is right on this square. I think we're a bit early for check-in, so we might need to wait it out in a cafe. This one's open, which is great. It's just across the square from the hotel. got about an hour to wait, which is just enough time to read the papers and have a couple of drinks. Well, we're all checked in and showered and everything. We thought we'd have a little wander around and get some lunch. The hotel manager's given us a few recommendations, which is good. He said all the nice bits of the town are just within a couple of blocks of this main plaza. We don't have far to walk.
It's the one he recommended.
Well, we didn't really fancy that one. There wasn't really any vegetarian food and it was quite pricey. We'll just have a look at the others he recommended.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, we had a very nice lunch. We just round off the day with a few beers in the plaza. Just us and the binman out this morning as we head out from Igualada. It was quite industrial coming out of Igualada, so I didn't film it. There's quite a lot of traffic too, but we're on quieter roads now. There was a coffee machine in our room in the hotel, and we bought a croissant from the bakery last night, so we were able to have croissant and coffee for brekkie. Can't beat that. Today we're heading to a tiny little village called Cabrianes, which is just outside of Manresa. We've just got a short distance to go on this off-road track. Starting to get some nice views though. Wow, look at that beast of a mountain. That does look so cool. Ben's getting a few photographs of it. Really does look quite spectacular. I think Manresa's down on the plain. See in front of us. This is definitely the prettiest bit of the ride so far. We're just walking our bikes down this last little section because it's really steep and gravelly. I know what I'm like, I'd just fall off. And actually the weight of the bags on the bikes makes them a bit unstable as well. Time for a long downhill stretch into Manresa. I know I've mentioned before that Ben goes really slowly down these hills. Let's watch these other two cyclists zoom past us. My God, they're even pedaling. Now getting a bit of a view as we come down here. Oh my God, that would be hard work coming up here. It's quite a distance and it's a steep gradient too. Oh, another view of the mountain that we passed by. We're not far from Manresa now. I think we'll stop for a coffee there. We can't check in until 4 p.m. today. It's a middling distance ride for us today, so about 3.5 hours plus stops. We still decided to leave relatively early this morning to avoid the heat. As we're not too far away now, we may as well have a nice long stop here. As we're passing through this small little village, we may as well kill a bit more time with another coffee stop.
Yep.
Well, it is very hot now, must be about 35 degrees, but only a few more miles to go. And here it is. After a fair bit of negotiating, they agreed that we could leave our bikes and bags here. And there is one bar in the village apparently. Well, I guess that's where we'll wait. Bit of an odd pub and there's no food, but fine for a few beers. Time to head off again. I have to say, we found the village of Caprianis a little bit odd. Last night was the World Cup final, Spain v Argentina. We wandered back down to the pub in the evening. And it was closed. There was nobody out and about. It was deadly quiet in the village. All very strange. We're not really into football anyway, to be honest, but it would have been nice to have joined in with such a historic moment. Never mind. We're heading to the city of Vic today. It's a reasonably large place, and we're going to spend a couple of nights there. Taking a bit of a circuitous route today, sticking to the mountains and avoiding the main roads. It's another hot day today. Nice in the shade of the trees and up in the mountains. A little bit of a breeze too. I'm really looking forward to Girona now. We've got almost 3 weeks there. We've got people coming over to visit, which will be fun. It'll also be really nice to stay in the same place for a little bit longer. We've been on the road for a couple of months now, moving on every day or two. After a while, I feel I just do want to stay put for a bit longer. Not much further to Vic now. It's got this long downhill stretch, which is always pretty fast. This is Vic. We're staying in the historic centre as usual. Just got an Airbnb. We might have to hang around again today before we can check in. Not as bad as yesterday. I think it's 2:30 we can check in today.
Oh, fresh pineapple juice, and we're back to getting little extras with our drinks now. Alright.
Well, we had a bit of time to kill, and I managed to motivate myself to clean my bike, which was desperately needed. They're not perfect, but they're a lot better than they were.
This is ours. Above the luggage shock.
I'll give you a little tour. There's a fan over the bed, which is great because it is just so hot at the moment. We've been able to keep our bikes in a garage nearby, which is good because this is a top floor flat and there are no lifts.
Cheers.
Cheers! What is that you've got there? It's very orange.
Aperol Spritz, my first ever.
What's it like?
It's alright.
Bit sweet?
It's a bit kind of sweet and sour, which isn't that great a mix. I think there's nicer drinks out there. Gin and tonic every day.
Good to know.
Yeah.
We're going to have a bit of a wander around the old town this morning whilst it's still kind of somewhat cool-ish. First up in terms of sites is this Roman temple built in the early 2nd century AD. Apparently they built a castle on top of it in the 11th century, and it was only in the late 1800s when they were demolishing the castle that they rediscovered the Roman temple. Next on the list of must-see tourist attractions is the cathedral, of course. It's a little bit of a strange-looking building. That could be because it kept being added to. The bell tower was built in 1038. And other bits kept being added all the way through to the 1800s. We're going to have a look inside because the Spanish muralist Josep Maria Sert painted a set of murals, twice in fact. The initial murals were done in 1936. then revolutionaries set fire to the church during the Spanish Civil War. And those murals were quite impressive. I couldn't film inside the church, unfortunately. They're all done in sepia tones, with a few accents in red. And so we ended up repainting them all after the Civil War. It really was a very unusual church. Anyway, the last thing that I want to show you is the Plaza Mayor. Actually, this is where we had drinks last night, but there's a market on today. Getting lots of fresh produce as well as clothes and things. The plaza is really very unusual in that it's not paved in the middle. This large sandy area. I guess it would have been great for horses and carts back in the day. I think that's our tour of the centre of the city done. It's getting so hot again now. I think we're going to go back and chill for the rest of the day and come out for drinks later on.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We've got just one more stop before Girona. We're heading up into the mountains again today. We're going to be staying at a place called St. Hilary. I mentioned in one of my earlier videos that all the place names around here were in Catalan. We're increasingly noticing that menus, for example, are only in Catalan, not in Spanish as well. Seems to be a really strong separatist movement around here. People fiercely see themselves as not being part of Spain. Very separate from that. Cloudy today. The sun is doing its best to shine through, but really quite happy there's a few clouds in the sky. Should stay a little bit cooler, I hope. We've got a climb of around 800 meters today. It's just a slow, gradual climb all the way up to the destination. We're just following this little windy road all the way up the mountain. And Hillary's somewhere near the top. I think all these forests around here are managed for logging and hunting. This is the first house we've seen for at least 20 kilometers along this road. I think we're pretty much at the top of the mountain here. And it's only a few kilometers down the mountain from here to St. Hilary. It's very windy coming down the mountain as well. Lots of very sharp U-bends, so we'll just take it slowly. Sign says we're just entering the Girona province. Fantastic. They're growing fir trees in this field. Not sure if it's Christmas trees or just for the forestry industry. Very grand house over there too. We've passed so many cyclists on this road today. Way more cyclists than cars, that's for sure. This is St. Hilary. We're staying in a hotel on the other side of town. I think, as often is the case, we're a bit early, so we'll probably just decamp to a cafe for a little while. This looks perfect.
What a treat, eh?
Yum yum.
Yeah, nice.
Well, we're all checked in. We thought we'd just have a little wander around before doing the inevitable. It's late afternoon and everything seems closed and pretty quiet. I guess it'll get a bit livelier later.
Cheers.
Cheers.
One more sleep until Girona. You excited?
Yep, it's going to be good.
Can't wait.
We're off to Girona today. It's downhill pretty much all the way today, or at least the first chunk is as we come down from the mountain. Feels really nice and cool up here this morning. The valley to our left is really steep. Hopefully we'll be getting some good views coming down here. My father-in-law is arriving from the UK tomorrow. He'll be staying with us for 10 days in Girona. We've booked an Airbnb in the old town. And we're going to hire a car as well so we can do trips out. I think Girona will make an excellent base for this holiday, because in under an hour you can get to the coast or up into the Pyrenees. It's like there's lots of pretty little medieval towns and villages dotted around as well. After my father-in-law leaves, we've got friends coming. We've hired an Airbnb a little outside of Girona to spend a week with them. I'm really looking forward to having a few weeks in and around Girona. I think I probably won't be doing any videos until we head off again. I thoroughly enjoyed coming down that mountain, just gorgeous. We're about halfway in the ride now, probably got another 20 odd kilometres until we hit Girona. This is actually a Via Verde we're following, which kind of runs parallel to the main road. While it felt lovely and cool up in the mountains, it certainly doesn't feel like that here. I think it's at least 30 degrees now. We're just watching this poor chap having to work in this heat. Super grateful that we don't have to cycle along the busy main road. It is hot and very dusty on this track. We're just coming into the outskirts of Girona now. Cycle tracks are just fantastic. Girona is a big hub for cyclists. It says there's lots of ex-Tour de France cyclists who retire here because it's just so good for cycling in the mountains around the city. Just crossing over the Ter River into the old town. As always, we're far too early to check into our Airbnb, so we'll just sit in a cafe until, well, for a few hours, I guess.
Made it to Girona. Yeah, it feels like quite a milestone, doesn't it?
More than 2,000 kilometres.
It is.
That's probably just directly up.
Well, the Airbnb is ready now, so we can go check in. Whilst Ben's unpacking our grocery shopping, I'll just give you a quick tour of the Airbnb. It's actually a gorgeous building. Lots of original features. It's pretty big as well. We'll be very comfortable here for a while with John. I think I'll also sign off at this stage. I'll pick up again when we head out from Girona. Bye.